welcome back to my channel. So I moved to the Netherlands 6 months ago, and one of the first things I ask myself is, one, how am I gonna survive? And two, who do I know around here that does similar glitch art stuff? One of the first people that came to my mind is now the subject of this video, and for good reason. Mezkalin, or Janus, is Germany's and most probably Europe's most prolific analog video circuit bender. Having included him in my now infamous glitch gear guide, which is about to turn 3 years old, I thought, why don't I go out and meet this guy? So I went to Germany with a friend, went on the Autobahn, and went to his house with a camera, and this is the result.
This is a signal generator, and it's plugged directly into the audio input from the synthwaver. And it definitely helps to give it some extra shapes and textures, depending on the frequency and also the waveform.
The pizza's here.
That's true.
So this video is structured to start with a voiceover on top of handheld footage that I gathered in his lab, I guess we could call it. And then it continues for 27 minutes with a one-on-one edited interview with Janus. If for whatever reason you're not already familiar with Mezkalin video gear, well, then I advise you to pause this video and go check out his Instagram page, which is kind of the most straightforward way of seeing what it is that he's all about. He makes awesome art, awesome video gear, is a huge part of the analog video art scene, and I think there's no better way to celebrate that and give him some recognition than to make a video about him and kind of get his voice out there. All the stuff that he makes is DIY, done by hand. This guy's only been in the business of this niche for like 5 years, but has already sold hundreds and hundreds of video gear. I even own one. In fact, I was gifted this one. This is a Rusty Joe, which is his most popular unit, I think. He's sold over 400 of them, but there's different editions. They all have different effects, some of them. And yeah, let's just get to this video. I'm going to assume that you're already familiar with the concept of circuit bending, so let me just give you a brief rundown of the Mezkalin way of circuit bending. Obviously, since every model that the circuit bends are based off of is now discontinued, Janus finds all his gear secondhand. By now, he's got a decent stock of them. Let's pretend he's found a video device he's never opened before. Every bend starts with disassembling the device to expose the circuitry. This comes not without some hazards.
Yeah, a few times, especially from these, so this one was exploded.
Exploded?
Yeah, exploded. And yeah, it was really narrow to my face. And
oh no.
Also another Vivanco I plugged into the power socket and turned it on just to give it a normal test, and then I moved out and I came back and it was already flaming, you know, the power supply blew up and yeah, it was
over. Now, unfortunately, I didn't capture any footage of Janus bending a new circuit for the first time. This is because, well, after having bent so many Vivancos, which is the most common video brand in Germany, there aren't many he hasn't come across. So by now, when Janus opens up a device, he already knows where he's going to apply the solder, and he better know because he's got orders to fill. And thanks to a team of a few other folks, Janus can eliminate some of the redundant steps, like pre-drilling and pre-soldering, so that he can jump right into soldering the potentiometers to the correct bend points. How long approximately does this take to solder all the points together?
I don't really know. So from the Rusty Joe, it's pretty fast because we made a lot And also, I'm just doing this part for the pre-soldering. I have another team member. And, I don't know, maybe 30 minutes for this part.
I can't tell you exactly how Giannis came up with these bend points, but undoubtedly many hours of experimentation led to this, as Giannis is a freestyle circuit bender, as you'll hear later in the interview. A couple notes about these Vivanco devices he bends. Surprisingly, many of them work in the NTSC standard, despite being in a PAL region. Also, there's no getting around the need for a SCART adapter, something that Giannis himself has complaints about.
That's something I really don't like. I mean, who came up with the idea of SCART?
I agree, I don't understand it either.
So you have a lot of functions for RGB and stuff. I really don't like it, but all of these Vivancos came up with the SCART, and it was a very common thing in Europe.
Once all the bend points are soldered, it's time to test the glitch effects and see that they actually work, using some test footage and a CRT screen.
It seems that's all working correctly.
Before beginning to close up the device, some cable management is necessary to make sure everything is tidy inside.
Very important, cable management.
Yes, I can imagine. You don't want them flying everywhere.
Yeah, in the beginning this was really a struggle. Often we have to place all these knobs so you don't get a contact with other parts of the circuit. And this can really be frustrating. For this one it's really okay because we have a lot of space inside, but for the other Vivancos it's really not always fun to build these things. I mean, once you get behind and you have a documentation about all what's necessary to, then it's getting okay. But sometimes the process to get there is can be pretty hard.
That's so funny.
Because the hot glue gun always breaks. I don't know what I'm doing wrong because it's on for a week and then it melts.
Giannis has bent so many of the same devices that he keeps cans of screws and other parts and pieces, which for some reason I find kind of funny.
Screws.
I don't know why, but it was only while watching Giannis put the screws back in that I realized I forgot a crucial step, and that is painting. Painting is done actually before everything I just showed on camera. If you know anything about Mezkalin devices, the potential for custom paint jobs is there. You just have to ask for it, and as you'll hear from him shortly, Giannis has a long history with painting and design. In this special room used solely for storing paints and using the paint gun, Giannis showed me a simple example of stenciling and painting. Of course, the painting process can be quite a bit more elaborate, but sometimes a simple coating and a cool stencil is all that's needed. One of the last steps is to apply some nice looking knobs onto the potentiometers, as well as putting back into place the original pieces he had to remove. And last but not least, a certified seal of approval from the circuit bender himself.
Russ Joe!
So I hope that was insightful. I'm sure you'd like to know what drives Giannis to keep doing this. He's over 40 years old and has a long story with art, and the best way to learn about that is to watch this interview that's about to come. We shot the interview in his backyard garden, which has some chickens, some rabbits, his cat, Afra, who was always, wanting to be in the spotlight. And I think this was a good location to kind of have a calm conversation. And I hope that you enjoy it as much as I did. Let's roll the clip.
First of all, this video I want to be how you would like the world to know about what you do, and share your what you want to share about your story as an artist, a creative. We don't have to start from day one. It can be any time as far back as you would like to kind of talk about your journey.
So for me, my artistic journey starts with graffiti and street art. As far as I remember, I start with drawing, and I always made characters, some cartoon stuff, and then I found out there is more really something that's on a wall, as a medium. So and I went out pretty early with 13 or so, bombing on the walls and tagging and
At 13, age 13, going on the streets
for a few years, and then the cops catched me. And
what year was this? Like a date?
I don't know. I think I was 17 years old. And it was in the night. We were already finished with the painting on our way back home, and then suddenly...
Which city?
In Weze, so where is the Peruka Festival now, with the airport. It was in a industrial area, so with concrete walls. And on our way back home, we just made a quick stop for smoking a cigarette, and then suddenly cops came, civil cops, undercover cops.
Oh.
And they wanted to show us our passport, and we had no gloves, so a lot of paint on the fingers.
Oh, they knew.
And they knew directly. I tried to hide it, but so there was no way out of it. And then they really put me in jail for a few hours. I was already falling asleep, and then they woke me up, and it's a bad dream. And they wanted to know. They showed me pictures from other graffiti artists in this area, and I just wanted to get infos.
So was that your first sort of experience crossing some boundaries you shouldn't with art?
Absolutely. And at this point, it stopped directly because I was really lucky because I had a lawyer, and he sent one document, and then I was out of this. So I stopped at this point with illegal graffiti writing, and moved on to canvas, more a medium that I also can sell, because this was also always a thing, the financial part of art. So making money with something I love. So I don't need a regular job, so because I'm not that good at it. I'm not really made for a 9-to-5 thing. I tried it several times.
Yeah,
but
I can agree.
I always wanted to be a full-time artist. I made furniture, lamps. I made a clothing line, T-shirts, customized kicks. I made light art, and I really tried so much. And now it feels like it all comes together. All the skills I learned in this journey, I can now put into making gear, because there's all these steps, working very detailed, so now it's coming all together.
When we spoke earlier, you said you didn't have an engineering background.
No, this whole electronic stuff was totally new for me, and I just can tell it to other people who are interested into circuit bending. So just do it, So you just need some basics to get started, but you don't need to have that much knowledge, Though it's really I'm working freestyle, and that's what I love about it. There's no wrong or right. So the only thing if you are afraid to break it, you can't bend it. So you don't mind if you have the chance buy 3 of the same unit. So because it's very frustrating when it's fried and you can't move on. But if you have a few, so just start again, and the next one you will be able to finish it. But for me, it's a very experimental thing. For me, it feels something. I'm a like a detective. You know, you are digging in the dirt, searching for effects, and prototyping is for me some of the best parts next to the design thing. You know, when it comes to you make a whole batch of 50 units, so that's not that's not what you want to do the whole time. So you need some fun parts in between to keep yourself running.
Absolutely. You know, you don't want to just be a machine
Yeah,
assembling something on an assembly
sometimes I really
line.
feel like a little Chinese in a toy factory. So when you sit there in the dark and so it's a cool job, definitely, but at some point it's a job. I mean, when you do this every day, you don't see, okay, that's something artistic, you know, it's the same.
I'm sure somehow the wonder, the magic behind it kind of fades.
It fades a little bit.
Yeah.
So, but then you open something you never had before, and then you're back on fire and say, let's get the best out of it. You know, let's do it. Let's band it.
Let's go back. You say you started 10 years ago.
I started 10 years ago with making visuals, and I started with liquid lightshows. So real slide projectors and overheads. And I made this, I don't know, 5 years or I don't know. So, and at some point I found out there is another medium. So one of the artists I followed was Liquid Light Lab. And he came up with the idea of mixing liquid light shows in the combination with analog video gear. So that was the point where it started to get more interesting because you had a lot of more possibilities. So he showed me to use these visual presenters, which are actually cameras with a LED plate. So you have light coming from the bottom. And it started with the Eddie roll, like for so many other people.
So you got into it basically wanting to do live visuals, in a way. And so, I mean, same for me, honestly. The whole rabbit hole started because I wanted to do projections for bands, and so it's nice that we share that in common.
Absolutely. So I never used TVs at this point. I always had a projector running, and that's definitely something I miss because I don't make that much live shows anymore, just a few. And but back in the days, I always had a projector by my side, and it was much bigger and feels more like making art than just a little CRT TV. So, and I want to go back to this. I want to make more really art, because that's definitely something that got lost in this whole building thing. You know, you are just focused on build stuff, and you decide, okay, I spend time in making art, or I decide to spend time build stuff, and I always made stuff.
Describe to me a little more the connection or the journey from doing live visuals to cracking open a device and then thinking, well, I'm gonna bend it.
I mean, like many people out there, I got certified with Stations, of course. You know, he's one of the best known benders out there.
So that was your first sort of circuit bend?
My first device was from Symphony.
Okay, in France.
The AV mod, so which was a little circuit band enhancer unit.
And what year was that?
5 years ago. 5 years ago.
So this was before you even did the whole Mezkalin glitch gear thing.
It was close before, because after the AV mod, I got a OptiGlitch from secondhand from eBay, and then I thought, okay, so I'm a guy who likes to build stuff. You know, just I'm interested to make similar things. and I just bought a second-hand video enhancer. It was a color corrector, and I just opened it and talked around. So,
yeah.
and then suddenly I touched the right points, and there was an effect.
Yeah.
So
what year was this?
It was.
When?
It was also 5 years ago. So the whole journey started with buying the first gear, and in the same year I already started to make my own stuff. So I sold the other units, and and at this point it was 50-50 making art and spending the other part of the day banding stuff.
You can correct me if I'm wrong, but there seems to be a lot more hardware available to bend in Germany than compared to the States, at least right now.
We still have tons of stuff. I already invested a lot of money into gear for the next 2 years, or maybe even more, I don't know, and I can still buy 50 Vivancos per week, you know, and for a really good price. And as long as there is stuff, I will buy, because when it's gone, it's
gone.
It's gone. And so even if I will bend it all, maybe I don't know, whatever I think it's the best to.
So you don't even foresee a date in the future when the well will dry up?
Not at this point. No, I think there will be a few more good years for me, and
because it's a very different attitude from people in the U.S.
Because in Germany there are not really other banders.
Yeah.
So maybe a few who buy gear for their own equipment, for their own setup. But most of the time I'm able to buy it all. So there's no one. So I just bid the most on, if it's 50, okay. If it's 100, so I need it because I can sell it. So it's just a simple
trade. I loosely keep up to date with some of the vendors in the US, and it's not uncommon to hear them say, well, this is the last of what I could find of this unit, this is the last time I'm ever releasing this, no guarantee ever that I will be able to create this again.
I mean for the hardware, for the Rusty Joe, it slightly dries up, but it can be.
Well, you made over 400, so
maybe that's the reason why it dries up, because I already bought them all. But it can be. I think there are still a lot of units in people's basements, storage, and maybe now or later they will pop up. So I think there will. But now it's really like minimal. But I have other units I can band. So Vivanco is definitely the most common company that came up with analog video gear, and they had,
which is a German manufacturer.
Yeah, it's from Germany, and I think they have more than 10 different units.
I mean, I'm sure I can research this.
I have some really early ones, so when I open these, it really looks like handmade. It was not even a real circuit board, so it was. It looked really strange.
So
I think these were from the early 80s.
Oh wow!
So pretty old. So, and they really smelled like chemical stuff. So I was able to band it. So, but and they came up with a lot of different units. So I think.
So that's kind of the major name that you're buying equipment from, or the
because it's available the most.
Yeah. No other.
And I like the effects. They later they started to add also digital parts on the circuit board. So with part-wise it was analog and part-wise digital. So this gives some a new range of effects, and some of them have really nice pattern generators you can band. So it's really looking like video synthesizing, like LZX stuff. And yeah, very interesting. So, and also because it's valuable the most, I decided to focus on these things. So I still buy whatever I can get from VideoMaster and Carina and whatever. So, but on the long term, I think it's the best thing to focus on these, because I'm pretty sure I will get them in the future too.
Yeah. So when you were getting the ball rolling with buying equipment and thinking, oh yeah, I can actually turn this around for a profit, did you, I guess in the beginning, did you really know what it was that you were buying? Like, or did you buy it simply because you knew it was analog video? Or was there, how intentional were you in finding what to bend?
I found out that you can bend everything.
Yeah.
As long it comes with a video in and output. So you can also bend the powered video switcher, you know, and make effects. So when you know this, I just bought one and open it, and just make some kind of prototype. So just to be sure it's worth. And as soon as this happens, so I buy every single unit that comes that pops up.
So normally you're gonna buy one.
I buy one and making tests, and when I say okay, it's worth to, so then I buy everything, and until I have a batch of whatever 20, 30.
Yeah.
And yeah, then I have another release, and then they are gone, and then it's really like I just can pick them up one by one and to move on with the production line.
How did you kind of spread awareness of what you do? I mean, obviously there's Instagram, but were you really aware of there being some sort of community of people wanting your hardware, or did you just have a hunch that somebody might like it? Or
it was really like I have a simple website and I have an Instagram account, and I was sitting there bending gear, laptop next by my side, and talking to people and offering things, and while I'm bending. So it was really like, okay, here, typing here, make some Instagram posts, even when it's...
So traction kind of naturally happens, or?
Yeah, I used all platforms like Etsy and Reverb, even eBay, Kleinanzeigen for German, and yeah, I think a little bit of Facebook, Instagram, and yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
So I remember you asked me someday, if I want to join your YouTube video about the benders out there, and I thought, okay, I need to do this. So I knew this will be an upgrade for me. And
at the time, were you aware of the other benders aside from?
I knew all of them.
So you knew all of them.
Yes,
okay.
Of course. I was.
Were you in contact with them and sharing ideas?
Not really.
Or?
I don't talk that much with other people. So, but I knew all of them.
You're aware of them.
Yeah. I was searching, of course, a lot for what's happening out there. Now, what's possible. I mean. You get inspired always from other people. When I started, there was not really such a big community.
Maybe you weren't aware of it, or
maybe that's. But still, for me, it's. I definitely appreciate that there is a community nowadays. But it's really like I'm not feeling that I'm part of it, because
You're just doing your own thing.
Yeah, I'm just...
And happen to
I'm just
share things in common.
Hyper-focused all the time on this, and there is not that much space for other things. So, but I like to talk to people. I like to give tips and whatever for setups and...
With your customers.
Yeah, of course. So that's a kind of community for me when I talk to people. So sometimes it's just too much when you spend so many time with given infos, and I already have an information side, and people always ask the same things, but I try to be kind, and I definitely understand. Also, this helps for a lot of people to make decision to buy something. I think that's very important, the personal contact to our customers. So because we don't have an online shop, because it's also varies. So with the design, so there are just a few units that are always the same. So most things, even the effect changed, so it's, and I think that people really appreciate that we take so much time for them. And we often heard that, so thanks for all of this. And we are pretty fast. I mean, I understand some of them from the other builders out there have maybe even more inquiries, but if you order something from us, you just wait 7 to maximum 10 days. So, and I have people heard talking about, okay, I wait 16 months for my whatever unit. So I think that's also a thing why we are so successful, because people don't want to wait. They want it immediately. I mean, look, when you order something with a custom painting or really special, then it maybe takes a little bit longer, but normally we are pretty fast.
So about the bends themselves, to my knowledge, and I'm not super familiar with the electronic components that you can and can't use on a circuit, but my understanding is that your bends are kind of passive in that you're connecting one point to another and there's a potentiometer in between. Is that right?
That's the
basic bends?
Yeah.
Is there any more sophisticated things that you do, or things that you've learned, or tricks?
Something I learned is a circuit for, I don't know, CV control voltage, or audio reactivity. That things that are a little bit more complicated. But the normal thing is
that use transistors,
caps in between, but at the end it's really just 2 points. So that's what it's all about. So you just need a very long breath to get behind it. So I could bend something in 30 minutes, but I really want to get the best out of it. So
you've tried so many combinations and permutations of what you could and can't do.
Definitely.
The points.
I try a lot of combinations until I say, okay, that's really harmonious. So not that much synchronicity. So, but maybe other people, especially new ones, so don't take that much care about. But I really want to say, okay, I did my best.
Do you ever study the schematics?
Sometimes I'm looking for pinouts, for the video chips. But I'm really a freestyle circuit bender. So I do what I do, and I see, okay, I like it or I like it not, and maybe this works in combination not as well as this. So it's really a process of a long prototyping process before I say, okay, let's make let's make 20 units or whatever.
One of the last things I want to ask about is the construction of your devices and the painting and the spray painting of them. I always thought that was one of the most beautiful parts about what you do.
Absolutely,
because nothing else looks as cool as holding a device. If I could, crazy paint job,
I would quit all the other things. And just.
Is it your favorite part?
Absolutely. So, I would love to make custom designs more for other people. Also maybe for audio devices or whatever. So I could imagine to do this also full time, because I do this more with a artistic mind. And then just sitting in an uncomfortable position like this and soldering. So it's painting. That's definitely my.
Which goes full circle from where you started doing the street graffiti.
Yeah, that's what I
Way
said.
back when you were 13.
Spray paint, bright colors, colorful stuff.
Yeah.
So I all can put this into my work now. So that's really, like I said, it's all coming together. So this skill was and with this I don't use spray paint in a, what is it called?
Spray can?
Spray can. So I don't use spray cans. So I use a paint gun, and I learned this from my stepfather because he's a woodworker. And
so your family was also kind of in the artistic,
absolutely, and
almost what's the word, like craftsman sort of. Yeah.
I learned a lot from him, and also he let me work all the years for free into his workspace. So, and I had all the possibilities. I had all
you were exposed to all sorts of
I had
tools.
all the materials, and I could do what I want.
So I'm sure that did have an effect on how you thought about creating something or modifying something, because you were exposed to all these tools and
absolutely different materials, and
I mean, your family practically invented things, right?
Yeah, and I learned how to use a spray gun, and I use very resistible spray paint, so it's not the cheap one, because I really want to give quality, give just quality products. Nothing that's, oh, I found a spray can in the garage, let's put some paint on it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think this is probably a good time to stop, considering that it's raining and only getting darker now. So we can always disclose more inside, maybe when we're filming some other parts of the process. But
I think we can make some paintings.
Yeah, let's
mix some color. And
So that was it right there. I hope that was really entertaining, because for me it was honestly a really memorable experience to talk with this guy, and I hope that you have as great of an appreciation for him as I do. He's a person who's very inspirational, and I only think that he's gonna be more influential and more relevant with video art. And in terms of what's going on with me and my plans, I'm kind of still adjusting to the new life here over in Europe, and I've been doing cool projects and things like that, and I'm planning to continue to do that. So I think I have plans to grow the channel and do more, have more of a like community presence online. We'll see. It's just all a matter of time. But I'm really thankful that you were here to watch this video, and I'll see you next time. Peace out and stay creative.